If there's ever been a console to try new genres with, it is definitely the Nintendo Switch. You never know what type of games you might end up enjoying, and for me, that was the strategy game, or RTS for short. The idea of managing different units and making progress in a timely manner has always kind of scared me, but a game has recently hit store shelves and made me completely fall in love with the genre, and that game is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Pikmin has always been a franchise that I've been interested in, but afraid to jump into due to the reasons stated earlier. I do own the first game on Wii and the original Pikmin 3 on Wii U. The first game seemed simple enough with one captain, but that time limit has always made me nervous. And the third game also had a time limit, but also having 3 characters to keep track of was something I was not prepared for. But I decided to buy Pikmin 3 Deluxe anyway, and was determined to beat it this time around. The biggest push that helped me make my decision was there is co-op play in story mode. I can sit down with my girlfriend and strategize how we will take care of objectives together. But what does this have to do with your review? I hear you ask down in the comments. Well, it's allowed me to play a game in a series I would have otherwise kept putting off on playing. And boy, let me tell you, I've been sleeping on the Pikmin series for far too long, and here's why you should try it too. The basic formula is fun and addicting. Instead of conquering kingdoms and expanding your empire, you're a space explorer searching for food for your home planet of Kopai. Upon entering the atmosphere of planet PNF 404, Captain Charlie and his crew, Alf and Brittany, are forced to make a crash landing and the crew is split up. We follow Alf the most, and it is through him that we find out the SS Drake, which is the ship's name, lost its cosmic key, which is literally the key, to get off of the planet and return to Kopai. It is during this time of separation where we meet the titular Pikmin. From here on out, they will be essential to reuniting the crew. Once reunited, the crew begins searching for the cosmic drive key and realize they need food in order to survive on the planet. Now to me, this is where the game really picks up. Collecting fruit and growing my Pikmin army is basically the highlight of my playthrough. Each area has a plethora of fruit to collect, and in doing so you will need to raise your Pikmin numbers to grab all of them. Raising your numbers is pretty easy. The strategy is knowing which colors you need most of to obtain the fruit. There are 5 different types of Pikmin. The red ones are the most common and are resistant to fire. Yellow Pikmin can be thrown higher and will conduct electricity, and the blue ones can also go underwater. Pikmin 3 introduced 2 new Pikmin as well. The rock Pikmin, which will hurt enemies the most and can break crystals, and pink Pikmin that can hover. Your Pikmin army will grow in 2 different ways, defeating enemies and bringing them back to the onion, and throwing Pikmin at numbered pellets. And with your Pikmin army, you will go in search of fruit to collect, and you will survive longer. Rinse and repeat. It's an addicting formula, and one where I can see myself coming back and seeing if I can get through each day in a more efficient manner, and without losing any Pikmin. And you'll definitely want to keep Pikmin around. Yes, growing your number back isn't all too hard, but listening to Pikmin die is absolutely heart-wrenching. Seeing their ghosts rise out of their bodies is also pretty haunting for a game as chill as Pikmin. So to spare yourself the pain and sorrows of losing them, you're encouraged to pay close attention to how many Pikmin you send into combat, while also making sure you're defeating enemies as efficiently as possible. Another praise I have to give the game is the pacing. It is respectful of your time. We beat the game after 17 hours, and I'm still thinking of ways I can go back and beat it quicker with fewer deaths. Like Super Metroid, it has fantastic speedrunning elements. Or if you want to take your time and explore every area as thoroughly as possible, that works too. There is a lot of replayability here, and in this era of gaming, that can be the deciding factor of whether to spend $60 on the game. You can tackle objectives in whatever way you want, and that's what makes Pikmin so charming. One criticism I have to give the game though is I felt while 5 types of Pikmin worked well, I wanted to see more. Green Pikmin, orange Pikmin, gray Pikmin. There is literally an endless array of colors at their disposal, and they just need to go wild. Pikmin has the potential to be a more open world experience, and while it doesn't have to be Pikmin, Breath of the Wild, a little more variety and different ways to tackle objectives can go a long way with the consumer. Maybe gray Pikmin are better at camouflage and can sneak up on enemies easier. Green Pikmin can be stronger and lift twice the weight and thereby have more numbers in your army still. And orange Pikmin can be faster than the rest and can help with keeping the death count a little bit lower in case you need to bring them back. The possibilities are endless. I also think that the story could have been done away with. I found myself wanting to collect more fruit rather than progressing the story, and this is coming from your local fan of JRPGs. Instead of rescuing Olimar or finding parts to fix your ship, you're exploring the world just because you want an adventure. You can have the Pikmin assist you in completing tasks and collecting objects, but there's no sense of urgency to complete story missions. You're just exploring the planet for the fun of it. Kind of like the first Zelda, but not as difficult. And the ending? You got all the collectibles. This is a game where it's about the journey, not the destination. Yes, while I do have criticisms about the game, they actually didn't bring the experience down for me. I still had a boatload of fun running around and throwing Pikmin to collect my fruit, and I highly recommend that you do too. But what did you think? Are you a Pikmin veteran who bought Pikmin 3 Deluxe for the additional content? Or are you like me where this is your first Pikmin game? Are you enjoying it, or is it literally the worst game you've ever played? Let me know down in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day! Nintendo, please give us Pikmin 4, I'm begging you!